All right, it is August 12th. Thursday? Is it Thursday? I don't even know anymore. We're going to look at an assignment that I just posted regarding a story from last time. So if you check the classwork, you'll see this guy. And it's two different parts. The first part, we got some questions about the story. And then the second part, we got some questions about taking inspiration from that and coming up with your own story. But first, let's look over here. Now, last time I read the first couple paragraphs, or maybe even pages. I'm not going to recap it, but overall, I'm going to assume you read it, and if you haven't, take the time to do that first. We've got our two characters. They're Japanese. One is young, one is old. They're strangers put together as roommates. And I just said I'm not going to recap it, but I'm doing it. I lied. The narrator takes sympathy on this old woman and helps her follow her goal, which is to find an old lover, a man she used to know decades ago, who is currently dying in a nursing home. And our narrator doesn't really have any connection. She could walk away and it would be fine. There's no legal reason for her to help or anything, but that's not what the story's about. It's not about her decision to help or anything. We hear a little bit of flashback about what happened with the old woman and the man back in the, we don't know, back in the 40s or 50s, we assume. And along the way, we do see some clues about the time period. There's a lack of cell phones, so we assume it's not brand new. And at one point, they mention a shilling. The currency is a shilling, which means it must be before they switched to the euro. Austria switched to the euro, I don't know, let's see, 2000-ish. Austria joined the European Union in 95, 99. Okay, so it must be before 99. Well, not really. You could still use the old currency for a while, but it's probably before 99. So if the love affair was 45 years earlier, as they say, then, 40s, 50s, somewhere around there. Now, they see the guy and they go to the nursing home and they read the little labels on the beds because everybody kind of looks the same. And they see a guy and hold his hand and give him a kiss, but it's really not personal. The guy doesn't respond, and maybe he can't hear, maybe, I don't know. We assume he speaks Japanese because he went to Japan in the past, but it never really says outright. Now, at the end, finally, they see that it was the wrong guy, that they were looking at Joshua and not Johann, because, as had been foreshadowed throughout the whole thing, the old woman is not ready to read German or any language that uses our alphabet. And she was nervous and got it wrong. The real guy was one bed over, right next to them. And the woman is distraught, of course, because they just saw someone die and thought it was Johann, and it wasn't. And Johann is right there, and we could have been talking to him the whole time. But he's equally incapacitated. He's equally unresponsive. So maybe whatever love was perceived by this other guy still helped him in his final days, and we didn't do anything bad. At least that's the advice the narrator gives in the final parts. Now, what I ask you in the questions is stuff like, what do we learn at the beginning, and then how does it change when we look back? So when you're reading the beginning of the story, you see details about their character traits, their age and abilities, and so on. But nothing only works on one level. Everything has multiple jobs it's doing. For example, the stuff about writing. The old lady says, "Can you write the hotel on my hand?" And I can't read these letters. And that works early on to give us a sense of why she's timid, why she needs help, why she's so nervous. But at the end, it makes us think, oh, that was foreshadowing that she was going to read the name wrong. And if the story didn't have that, here's the real key. If the story didn't have that, and they read the name wrong, and they told us on the very last page that, oops, it was a different guy, it would feel like it came out of nowhere. It would feel like the author was cheating and just made up something at the end. But now when it comes out at the end, it feels like, yeah, we're wrapping it back to the beginning. Everything's connected. Everything has a plan, and we're in good hands of the author. So that's something to keep in mind. You won't actually do that in your first draft. It's the kind of thing where you'll go back in the second draft and sprinkle in the details that foreshadow the stuff that you have now written at the end. But it's still good to know. Now, questions about your idea. People have been asking, hey, when are we going to write our stories? And the answer is starting right now. Today, I have a question about what's a possible character? What's a possible conflict? What's a possible way they could change in some kind of climax? If you have one that you're pretty solid on, you're pretty happy with, and you write that out as answers to these today, cool. If you just throw out some weird idea today and then you change your mind tomorrow, that's also fine. But the plan is, next class, I'm going to have you come up with an idea, whether this one or a new one, and kind of outline it. What some stuff, key stuff in the beginning, key stuff in the middle, and at the end. And then the class after that, I'll say, okay, write the first paragraph. Write the first paragraph of your story, which will be a way for you to, plant the seeds of all the good stuff you need to set up. But I bet a lot of you guys, when we do that, after having gone through the planning, you'll be able to do 10 paragraphs instead of just one because you'll be ready. If not, it's okay. So today is beginning that. If you have a great idea and you like it, cool. But if you don't, just throw out some brainstorming, some suggestions, talk out loud, pick random things. Sometimes that's fun. Take an idea from real life or from another story or from your friends. Whatever works. But I'm going to end this video so it doesn't become too long, and I'm going to post it, and then we'll spend our time working on this, helping people catch up, fixing all the weird computer problems we've had today. We'll see how it goes.